It was also composed together with Royce, the producer. So he took part on the writing of the song, and also he played the guitar solos as invited.
You speak about Roy D and Sacha Pets. Could we say that it's two friends now for you, and that it's more easier to work with them than other persons in the past?
Yeah, by luck, I can say that it's easier to work with them, and I wish I can keep this wonderful team, because I think I was extremely fortunate to be able to work together with the best one from America and the best one from Europe, you know. So and their combination was all I needed for this album, because nothing really against any of their previous productions or anything. I always trusted Sacha blindfold for everything he done with me, but if they would have done the record themselves as alone, each one, the result would have been different. I don't mean it would have been bad, it would have been a great result. I trust both guys too much, you know, but for this result, it was very important that both guys were together and each one was giving their best in a certain part of the production. So it was a perfect team, a dream team of producers.
Because human programs has got can have bad consequences, you know, on music.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're aware about that.
But why do you ask that?
Why? Why? Because of the past. You know, I think problem with Angra.
Oh yeah, Angra and Shaman. That's basically the reason why of the split-ups.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you don't fight the problem, you know, right away, sometimes you have to kill it. It's gonna come back later, come back bigger later. So it was very important that when we figured out that there was something going on and that couldn't really be fixed, so the only possible way was to stop everything and you know, to find a new way to carry on, because when you have such personal problems in the band and you don't communicate so good anymore, you can't really make music. I mean, music is something completely apart. I mean, it's different if you work in a factory and maybe you produce cars and okay, you don't get well along with your boss or your colleague there, but still you can do something, probably not as good as you could, but it doesn't affect so much the final product. It may affect a little, but it's still a factory, you know. And but with music, it doesn't work as a factory. It works with the heart, with the soul, with the feelings. And if you have to expose those feelings in front of the other people, you must trust them, you must communicate to them, and you must never be afraid that you know, they would use anything against you. You know, so it's a very big exercise of trust to be in a band, to share your ideas and your feelings. So definitely I think it affects pretty much the creative side, and also affects the performance side. We know we know stories of many famous bands, very famous bands that have such problems and still keep together.
Yeah, it's true.
And they say they do it because they're professional.
Yeah.
I don't like to think like that. I think this is a very materialist way of thinking, because you can read between the lines that they are doing it for the money, or for the status, or for, you know, their ego or whatever. But that's not faithful to music. When I first started like thinking I want to be a musician, I said I want to be a real musician. I want to really put this as my priority in life, and if I'm not succeeding by letting it flow as it should be, then I should find an alternative solution, you know. So I must have lost many big opportunities in the past, actually material-wise talking. But on the other hand, I think I became richer inside, and I was able to overcome myself every time. So this is the probably the final point when we arrive here, and you can see it in this record.
Did you feel a little bit pissed off to be two times to be the one to have to leave the band, the two bands you created, and when things didn't work out?
Somehow yes, because I dedicated myself too much to the band. You know, I gave all my best, all my blood was there. You know, and it's a little bit sad to see a dream like that dying somehow. And but then I was not responsible anymore, because in my opinion, when such things happen, the band should be simply over. You know? Just as, let's pick up an example, Led Zeppelin, when somebody died, over, no more. You know, it makes no sense. The band was dead, you know, and not another thing. And so I think that after, you know, the splits, I'm not responsible anymore for anything that might happen to the band. If others want to follow and carry on with that same name, I mean, it's their problem. I wouldn't do it myself, because I think it would be too risky, maybe. And you are, like I said before, you're just perpetrating a problem for the future, which will come back later. And sometimes it's also bad, because you build something together and you should have some rights on a band's name, for instance, and somebody comes first and takes it for himself and just tries to exploit it again. So I even don't think some things like those are really fair. Everybody should be courageous enough to restart on his own name, and to restart with his own ideas, and not rely on a brand, actually, because that's you can fool the people for a certain time, and you can even be successful for a certain time, but one day it will catch you again, and the same problem is going to appear.
But we speak about problems, but do you think those problems are the consequence of your personality, not your personality, but all the personality in the band? I think of the band Face No More, you know, five members, but 5 personality, and it will be the split at the final.
Yes, there are a couple of things that could be dangerous in a band, that could actually cause problems. One of them is the ego, the personality. When somebody starts to think that he's more important than the others, there's a mistake already. No matter what your function in the band is, you know, if you're a drummer or a guitar player or a vocalist, sometimes I say this as a vocalist. I mean, sometimes vocalists must also be the public relation of the band. You know, so they are the ones who talk to journalists. They are the ones who talk to the people more than the others. Sometimes, most of the times. And other people in the band shouldn't get really jealous about it, because the vocalist is just doing his job. You know, it's just helping everybody. It's like a boat. You know, everybody's together in the boat. So the boat goes this direction or that direction. If everybody helps. Of course, there must be one guy in front of the boat to